All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack Turkey's absolutely monumental 70-year role in global security. We're looking at a country that sits, quite literally, at the crossroads of continents. It acts as this massive anchor for Western alliances, while at the exact same time operating as a fiercely independent player protecting its own borders. It's a fascinating balancing act.
Today, we're going to take a zoom-in approach. On the agenda, we've got 70 years in NATO, contributions and crises, the Black Sea gatekeeper, the Montreux Convention, and finally, the Russia-Ukraine war. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. 70 years in NATO, a historic alliance.
We start by looking back to February 18, 1952. That's when Turkey officially became a member of NATO, kicking off a pivotal, decades-long relationship. Originally, this was designed to counter Soviet threats during the Cold War. You see, the West desperately needed a stable anchor on its southeastern flank, and, well, Turkey needed the backing. It was a partnership born out of pure mutual necessity.
Now, to truly grasp Turkey's heavy-hitting status within this alliance, just consider the number 2. They boast the second largest army in all of NATO, trailing only the United States. So they aren't just a participant here, right? They are an absolute cornerstone of the alliance's military muscle. And they actually rank among the top 10 financial contributors as well.
Moving on to Section 2, Contributions and Crises, a complex relationship.
Of course, a 70-year marriage doesn't survive without some serious friction. And geography perfectly illustrates the divide here. On one hand, you've got Western Europe, which historically has felt relatively insulated from immediate existential border threats. But on the other hand, you have Turkey. They perceive a full 360-degree threat landscape. They're looking south at failed states, west at Mediterranean tensions, and north at Russian naval expansion. This fundamental difference creates a really deep crisis of confidence with their allies.
But here's the thing. Despite these political tensions, feelings of underappreciation, and alienating rhetoric, Turkey still steps up to the plate. They heavily supply vital peacekeeping missions. For instance, Turkey currently deploys over 300 military personnel to NATO's Kosovo force. Plus, they're the second largest troop contributor to the EU's Operation Althea in Bosnia, with over 240 personnel stationed in Sarajevo.
So, the crucial takeaway here is balance. Turkey is navigating its unique security needs by seeking a more symmetrical relationship with European partners, while simultaneously acting with fierce independence. We see this independence super clearly in major defense moves, like their highly controversial decision to purchase the S-400 air defense system from Russia. Basically, they're willing to find alternative security solutions, even if it causes massive turbulence within NATO.
Section 3. The Black Sea gatekeeper, controlling the straits. They say geography is destiny, and that is definitely true here. Turkey sits as the literal gatekeeper to the Black Sea. They control the Turkish Straits, which includes the Dardanelles, the Sea of Marmara, and the Bosphorus. This narrow, vital passage is the sole waterway connecting the enclosed Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and by extension, the wider oceans of the world. So if you want to move a navy in or out, you literally have to go through Turkey's front yard.
And what's the key to this gate? It's the 1936 Montreux Convention. Signed in Switzerland almost a century ago, this piece of international law gives Turkey the absolute authority to manage the transit of naval ships. Its primary goal is straightforward: to protect the security of Turkey and the other Black Sea coastal states by preventing outside powers from coming in and destabilizing the region.
Section 4. The Montreux Convention, the rules of passage.
Now, the rules governing this passage are fascinatingly strict. If your country does not share a physical border with the Black Sea, meaning you are a non-literal state, your navy faces massive restrictions. Foreign warships can only stay in the Black Sea for a maximum of 21 days. There is also a really tight aggregate cap of 45,000 tons for these fleets, which severely limits the size and number of ships. Plus, everyone absolutely must give Turkey advance notification before even trying to transit. And listen, this treaty is not just paper, it is strictly enforced. During World War II, Turkey closed the straits, keeping Axis warships completely out. During the Cold War, they abstained from allowing NATO exercises just to avoid provoking neighbors. In 2008, Turkey literally blocked the United States from sending 2 massive 60,000-ton hospital ships because they exceeded that tonnage limit. And in 2014, when an American warship overstayed its 21-day limit by just 11 days because of a broken propeller, it sparked a major diplomatic dispute. The rules are absolute.
Which brings us to Section 5, the Russia-Ukraine War, Montreux in Action.
This is really the climax of our explainer, seeing how all of this history and loss suddenly collided in 2022. On February 24th, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, triggering the largest European military conflict since World War II. And on that exact same day, Ukraine immediately requested that Turkey exercise its power under Montreux to slam the gates shut on Russian warships.
Just a few days later, on February 27th, Turkey officially recognized the Russian invasion as a war. Now, this wasn't just rhetoric, it was a massive legal distinction. By officially calling it a war, Turkey was able to invoke Article 19 of the Montreux Convention for the very first time since World War II. This specific article outright denies passage through the straits to warships of belligerent or warring countries.
So, by neutrally applying this international law, Turkey effectively froze the naval battlefield. On one hand, this physically blocked Russia from bringing in naval reinforcements from outside the Black Sea. But because the passage rules tightened for everyone during wartime, it also kept powerful NATO assets out of the fight. Huge American aircraft carriers cannot pass through to protect shipping or project power. The naval balance of power in the Black Sea was instantly locked in place just by Turkey turning the key.
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. As Turkey continues to deftly balance its 70-year history as a NATO heavyweight with its strict, independent control of the Black Sea, we really have to ask, in an era of renewed great power competition, is this unique, independent position the alliance's greatest asset or its deepest vulnerability? Definitely think about that as you consider the shifting maps of global security. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.